In this video, we will show you how to set up and install the Bulletproof medium-duty weight distribution system on your truck and trailer. For our installation, we are using a 2021 Ram TRX with a 30-foot Keystone Outback camper that weighs 7,690 pounds and a tongue weight of 1,000 pounds. The tools you will need for this install include two 1 1/16 wrenches, two 3/4 wrenches, a bubble level, tape measure, and a Sharpie. Optional tools include 3/4 socket and ratchet, 1 1/16 socket and ratchet, impact gun, grease gun, and torque wrench. Before we get started, if your vehicle has airbags, completely deflate them for this install and for the whole time you are using the Bulletproof weight distribution system. With that out of the way, we can get started. The first step is to measure the distance from the ground to the top of the wheel arch. Do this for all four corners and record your measurements in the install booklet. Also, measure the height of the receiver. This will help us determine how effective our install is at the end. As you can see, we got the following measurements for our TRX. Next, park your trailer on level ground and wind your jack up or down until the trailer is level. Using a bubble level on the frame of the trailer will help with this step. Once the trailer is level, take a measurement from the ground to the bottom of the coupler on the trailer. As you can see, this camper sits at 18 inches. Install the Bulletproof weight distribution shank into the hitch receiver. You can also use a Bulletproof hitch with a weight distribution adapter. For our install, we are going to use the weight distribution shank. Insert ball mount adjustment post with spacer washers to achieve correct downward angle. Start with 5 spacer washers. Slide the weight distribution ball mount onto the shank of the hitch and attach the ball mount with two 3/4 hex bolts and 3/4 serrated washers and hand tighten the 3/4 nuts for now. The top of the ball should be greater than the coupler height by approximately 5 inches. Tighten the hex bolt at the bottom of the ball mount with a 3/4 wrench to set the ball mount in place. If you have a torque wrench, torque to 45 foot-pounds. Now you have the ball mount set up correctly, it's time to install the spring bar support brackets on the frame of the trailer. Measure from the center of the coupler and install the bracket between 24 to 28 inches from the coupler on each side. Mark this on the frame so you know where to install your support brackets. If something is in the way, either move it or install the bracket less than 24 inches from the coupler. Never exceed 28 inches from the coupler. Insert the 1/2 inch carriage bolt through the top of the brackets and hand tighten the nut. Line up the middle of the bracket with your mark and slide the brackets over the frame of the trailer. Repeat this step for the other side. Slide the L bracket between the U channels, leaving one square slightly exposed at the bottom of the bracket. Slide the second 1/2 inch carriage bolt through the hole that is closest to the bottom of the frame. Thread on the 1/2 inch nut and tighten with the 3/4 wrench. Repeat this step for the other side. Now you have the trailer set up, it's time to back up the truck so the ball mount is directly in front of the coupler and install the spring bars into the ball mount. To install the spring bars, slide them into the socket while keeping them perpendicular to the truck. With the spring bars pushed all the way up, turn the bars until they are parallel with the A-frame on the trailer. This will lock them in place. Look at the distance from the top of the bars to the bottom of the L bracket. This should be 3 inches based on the previous setup instructions. If the distance is greater than 3 inches, remove spacer washers until you have 3 inches. If the distance is less than 3 inches, add spacer washers until you have 3 inches. Now that your ball mount has the correct angle, use a 1 1/16 inch wrench and a 1 1/16 inch socket to tighten the nuts. If you have a torque wrench, torque to 260 foot-pounds. For our install, we are using an impact gun to start the nuts and finishing off with a torque wrench. Raise the trailer jack so the coupler clears the top of the ball. Back the vehicle so the ball is directly underneath the coupler and lower the trailer coupler onto the ball until the trailer jack is no longer supporting the weight. Lock the trailer coupler. With the tongue weight of the trailer on the vehicle's hitch, remeasure your distance from the ground to the top of all of your wheel arches and record the measurements. Also, remeasure the height of your receiver and record in the install booklet. You are now able to see the effect of the load on the vehicle with no weight distribution system installed. For our TRX, we got the following measurements. As you can see, the front end has lifted 1 inch and the rear end has dropped 6 inches at the receiver. With the coupler locked, wind the trailer jack to raise the trailer and the rear end of the vehicle until there is a 2-inch gap between the spring bar and the support bracket. Use the spring bar lift tool to help leverage the bar onto the bracket, and repeat this step for the other side. Install the retention clip into the bracket and secure it with the R-clip. Repeat this step for the other side also. Wind the jack to lower the trailer and raise the jack leg into the highest position possible. The last step is to remeasure the distance from the ground to the wheel arches and your receiver height. Record this in your install booklet. If the system is installed correctly, you should see the height of the front arches return to approximately the same as the unloaded measurement. You should also see a 50% reduction in squat of the truck. As you can see, the front of our truck has returned back to the original unloaded measurement. Our receiver dropped 6 inches without the system installed and only dropped 3 inches with the system installed. That is a great result and a 50% reduction in squat. Your trailer is now ready to be towed. If you have any questions after your install, give our technical team a call and we will be glad to assist you at 941-251-8110.